Korea, a beautiful country. Uh, like a couple hundred years ago, well, I sent some steam engines there, and they were doing some mines back in the hills, back in Korea. They were and up on top of one of the ski slopes. There's this big mine or mine shaft basically in there, and I think the ski slope was actually a runway or something at one point in time, and they're doing research or something. There's a mine somewhere in there, and there's a bunch of mining that was going on in Korea a long time ago. And I think they were finding iron or something or nickel. Anyway, they're finding resources or whatever and doing test drilling. And there's also I also sent like 500 cattle, and Korea is also one of the sites of one of the most interesting and coolest thing, which was basically the Asian cowboys. Like hundreds of years ago, Asians went. Well, there's a basically thousands of years ago, some Chinese wanted to go live on their own and didn't want to be a part of whatever China or whatever, so they went to Korea or something like that, I believe. Um, and eventually they were having some problems, so some Germans went there, and some Germans basically took over and were basically running the civilization. Although I don't know if they're doing a very good job, but but basically they were, and maybe JFK was also attacked or whatever. Anyway, though, but like many years ago, back in the old pig mill days, like there were steam engines and mining equipment and stuff like that, and some of the old time miners were teaching the, the the Koreans how to mine and everything else like that, so they could start building houses and stuff, and eventually have a modern day society or whatever civilization. And after 40 or 50 years, I believe everything had been run down, and probably somewhere around 1920 began one of the biggest rebuild projects ever. And eventually, like my Coca-Cola bottling plant, or I think my cocaine bottling plant was actually, it might have been in Korea, but I thought it was in Brazil or Mexico or someplace like that. Like I said, I had one somewhere. And then, like I said, the Germans were very good builders, and they built a lot of stuff. Anyway, though, but of course, everything had to be modernized and also able to withstand earthquakes and all kinds of stuff. So, anyway, so Korea, so somewhere around 1920 started the rebuilding, in 1940 or so. Korea started modernizing because they'd become run down and everything else like that. And they were one of my production sites or whatever, mining sites, kind of. Anyway, though, it just seems like. Anyway, though, and what happened was somewhere around 1940 or whatever, certain people were like, basically making money off of Korea because they're exporting like crazy, and then he was basically feeding money into the Republicans or the aristocrats or whatever. And it's actually my base, so anyway. And then I think they switched over where they're pooling their resources so they could buy the resources that they need from other countries. And I think like, there's all kinds of outside influences, or maybe I'm thinking of Hong Kong or something, or one of the other things where some bikers or some Vietnam vets went in there and were like shooting up the place and stuff, and causing a nightmare. Anyway, though, whatever. Well, I mean, they had to hire guards and stuff like that and protect their civilization. People were saying basically that Chinese couldn't defend themselves. It's like, sure you can. And in fact, the Chinese are very good at defending themselves. Anyway, though, and somebody regarded, you know, anyway, well, John McCain really didn't care how many Chinese he killed. Like, they're killing thousands and having no regard for it. Well, I mean, Korea needs to practice maybe some birth controllers. Well, I don't know. I mean, they're a happy, thriving community. I don't ever like to say no, you shouldn't have children, but of course, 50 children's a bit much. You should only have so many. Like three or four maybe. Leave room for some other people to have children. Anyway, though, there are population limits, but anyway, I don't know. I don't like, that doesn't mean go around shooting people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Humanity's like my children. I mean, I like to say like my children though, but I've seen enough bloodshed and death for lifetimes. Like I said, I'm a pacifist. I don't particularly like I said, I don't enjoy torture. I don't like torture, although some people definitely deserved it. But they were really, 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 really bad and very disrespectful. I didn't actually do it myself. I just gave it to something. Like I said, there are life forms out there they don't feel, they don't care, they don't have any idea of compassion or remorse. And I gave these people to them. But they were really. But I verified that every single one of them was. I never want to do anything like that to a good person. So, anyway. And one of them, I was like, and the best part is you won't even remember it. I don't know. So it was somebody like JFK or something. I hated him. Oh, he was a really, really bad person. Like I say, we have video and photographic evidence of him being in Korea. So I know he attacked and he was just killing people. He didn't care about how many people he killed or burned to death. And like I say, basically he's Granddaddy Nixon. Anyway, he tried to hide the fact that Germany had plastic surgery and everything. Like I say, he changed his vocal cords so he sounded a little bit deeper, like this. Not that and then tried to become president of America. Oh. Hate him. He tried to lock up the presidency or whatever. Horrible, horrible person.